This is the Midway region, a Pokemon region based on the Midwest. And in today's video, we are going to be continuing our look at each of the Pokemon types. And today's type is the Psychic type. The different Psychic type Pokemon you can find in the Midway region are all very unique from each other, but there isn't too many. So, without any delay, let's get right into it. In the various farm fields throughout Midway, you can find 3 unique Pokemon to the farm fields, but only one of them is Psychic. This is Igrain, a grass and Psychic type. Igrain will use their Psychic powers to create patterns into the fields that they will use to communicate with other Igrains across the region. Scientists don't fully understand how it works yet. If Igrain opens both of its eyes, it can supposedly see the future, but it gets a ravaging headache to do it, so it chooses to keep one eye closed. If you give Igrain a shiny stone, it will evolve. This is Trigrain, still a grass and Psychic type. It has grown 2 extra heads from its evolution. Only the trainer will know which one is the original. Trigrain in the wild will command the Igrain to create patterns and will teach them the patterns and what they mean. Trigrain has the signature ability Crop Circle, which makes every move a special attack when on grassy terrain. Both Igrain and Trigrain are of course based on grain, since it is a staple of the farms in the Midwest. Not just grain, however, they are of course based on migraines. Migraines are a reoccurring headache that will affect everyone different. Oftentimes, having a migraine will affect your vision. There is also an effect known as migraine aura, which is what inspired the eyes for Igrain and Trigrain. If you want to learn more about Igrain, Trigrain, and the other farm field Pokemon that you can find in the Midway region, check out my video on grass types that you can find in the Midway by Type playlist. Alright, I've been waiting a long time to reveal this Pokemon. In the caves in the Midway region, you can find the Pokemon Lucit, a pure rock type and the radio Pokemon. Lucit move around through their caves and try and map out the surroundings. They only have one eye, so they will use their prismatic spear as an emitter for different types of energy to help define their environment. Like a type of sonar, after a long time, some Lucit grow a second eye. Now, you might have noticed, Lucit is a pure rock type, and this is a video about Psychic types, so let's look ahead to its evolutions. With some training, Lucit will evolve. This is Luciton, a rock and Psychic type. Luciton use their now 3 crystal spires to send out different energy signals, but are partial to radio signals. They appear to have a Lucit growing on their back. Luciton can use their Psychic powers to float around and move easier. If you manage to find yourself a Moonstone, you can get Luciton to evolve. This is Lucitadio, the rock and Psychic type. Lucitadio will use their 5 crystalline spires to manipulate their environment just like a hand. With what appears to be both Luciton and Lucit growing on them, it is assumed that it has at least 3 brains. Lucit, Luciton, and Lucitadio are all based on rocks. Well, to be more specific, they are based on agate and quartz. The appearance of agate has different bands that form its crystalline structure, which I use to give these Pokemon different facial features. The rock on its head is a type of quartz known as amethyst. I will save a bit more of the rock information for my video on rock types, since I have some more details that I can share. Next up is a unique one. This is Shingbliss, a ghost and Psychic type. Now it is anyways. Originally, Shingbliss was just a ghost type, and it made its debut in the ghost type video, which you can find in the Midway by Type playlist. I was thinking about it, and I came to the conclusion that it would fit better with a secondary Psychic typing. Shingbliss are known to appear around bullies, in order to make those who are being bullied laugh and stop the bully at the same time. If you want to see more about Shingbliss, check out the video of ghost types I mentioned earlier, after this video of course. As per usual, I have a character to introduce you to that you can find in the Midway region. This is Cameron Little, a performer at Midway's Carnival and also a trapeze artist. Cameron likes to perform extravagant and daring battles during their sets in the Carnival, and not to mention, they are Midway's very own psychic-type gym leader. If you manage to find Cam outside of battle, well, they will look a bit different, but they will give you a classic one-on-one gym battle. But battle Cam when they are performing their Carnival show, you'll have a unique battle experience. Let's take a look. The battle begins. And in this case, 2 of your Pokemon are up on a stage, while 6 of Cam's Pokemon are spinning on a wheel. Between each move used, Cam will rotate the wheel in either direction one time. You'll have to try and predict which Pokemon might come next, if the wheels even move at all. Cam can only move the wheel one time per move, used during the battle, so it won't be rotating 2 slots at a time. Plus, you can see all of Cam's Pokemon, so hopefully you can come up with a good strategy. This battle is supposed to be rather confusing and chaotic. Cam's goal is to try and throw you around like a trapeze artist. Well, mentally anyways. Cam also wants to show off how good their Pokemon are at trapeze, too. After defeating Cam in battle, they will reward you with the Circus Badge, and you will be one step closer to the Pokemon League. Liking this video and subscribing to this channel will also make you one step closer to the Pokemon League. I still have more Pokemon to show you, 2 of which have some interesting forms, as well as 2 Pokemon that have urban and rural forms here in the Midway region that involve the psychic typing. These 2 are known as Beautiveil, a pure psychic type. Beautiveil create masks that they think represent themselves best. They try to make a mask to meet their perception of beauty standards. Scientists theorize that they look different in prehistory, especially before humans came around. Masks have become more and more of a reference in the Midway region. I wonder what that can mean. The inspiration for Beautiveil is just some little creature that wants to change their appearance, and partially based on drag, since it is popular in the Midwest. That is why Beautiveil don't have a gender. In the summer, you can find a rather fun Pokemon that can change its form. This is Boombardle, a fire and psychic type, and the firework Pokemon. This is Boombardle's primed form, and it will use its flames to spin in circles and confuse its opponent. Boombardle can learn a signature move known as Cherry Bomb. This is a fire type move that will confuse its opponents when used. But that's not all it does. It will also change Boombardle's form. This is Boombardle, a fire and fairy type, and the firework Pokemon. This form of Boombardle is the pop-off form, and uses explosions and sparks to dazzle its opponents. Its long neck gives it an extended reach to launch off projectiles high into the sky. When this form of Boombardle uses Cherry Bomb, it will do the same amount of fire type damage as before, but this time it'll set up misty terrain. However, just as before, this will also change Boombardle's form once again. This is Boombardle, a fire and ground type, and the firework Pokemon. This form of Boombardle is its burnout form. It will use the smoke and ash and soot left over from the explosions to try and defend itself. When this form of Boombardle uses Cherry Bomb, it will continue the trend of doing the same amount of fire type damage, but this time it will also act as the move Haze, setting any changed stats back to 0. Let me know in the comments which form of Boombardle is your favorite. I wanted to make a firework Pokemon since this was right around the time of 4th of July. That being said, fireworks aren't strictly Midwestern, so perhaps you can find Boombardle all over the world. Next up on the list is the Midway version of the classic feminine psychic type trope you see in the Pokemon. This is Gikendewea, a pure psychic type and the quick learner Pokemon. In ancient times, it was very lucky if a Gikendewea lived in your tribe, since they had an easy time adapting to the cultural intricacies of each tribe, and because of this, it will then help spread each tribe's culture among the others. After some training, Gikendewea evolves into Psychowea, a pure psychic type and the communicator Pokemon. Psychowea have learned to use the patterns on their cloaks to create shapes and symbols to speak with others. Through the generations, they're able to help translate between people and Pokemon. Keep on training your Psychowea, and it will be able to evolve. This is Gikendewea, a pure psychic type and the translator Pokemon. It is said that some time ago, a Gikendewea helped humans explore the then Beautiveil region and connect with all of the tribes that spread across the land. This is eventually what was known to be the Great Mission Zibi. It is also what the major river in Midway gets its name from. Gagawea, Psychowea, and Gikendewea are most obviously based on Sacagawea and the many contributions she made to the native population in the US. But it also takes inspiration from native people in general, as in pop culture, they're often shown to have a greater connection to the earth based on their heritage and culture, which I thought was represented well with the psychic type. Well, that's it for the new Pokemon for today, but that's not all. I have 2 Pokemon here that have urban and rural forms here in the Midway region. Let's start off with Cheetah Monk. Cheetah Monk is a pure electric type, but if you bring Cheetah Monk to Fort Cheetah Buff in the rural zone, it will be able to change. This is Rural Cheetah Monk, an electric and fighting type. This form of Cheetah Monk uses its electricity to fuel its muscles, so it can be ready to fight at all times. Now hold on just a darn second. This is not a fighting type video, and I hear you. This is a psychic type video. So, bring Cheetah Monk to East Side in the rural zone, and it will be able to change. This is Urban Cheetah Monk, an electric and psychic type. This form of Cheetah Monk spends its time meditating, turning people's bad thoughts into good thoughts. If you want to learn more about the design inspiration for each of the Cheetah Monk forms, make sure you check out the video on electric types, found in the Midway by Type playlist. Lastly, I have one more urban and rural form compatible Pokemon to show you. This is Mr. Mime, and when Mr. Mime is brought to Flagtop Fork, it will be able to change. This is Rural Mr. Mime, a pure fairy type. This form of Mr. Mime is a trickster and will play pranks on passerbys. Just like before. I know, it's not a psychic type. But if you bring Mr. Mime to Suit City in the urban zone, it will be able to change. This is Urban Mr. Mime, a pure psychic type. This form of Mr. Mime acts like a puppet and seems to be making fun of the people here in Suit City. If you might have noticed, Cheetah Monk is a monotype in its base form, which allowed it to gain an extra type for each of its urban and rural forms. However, Mr. Mime is a psychic and fairy type, which forces it to split its typings between its urban and rural forms. These are the base of the rules when it comes to choosing the typings for urban and rural forms. That being said, let me know in the comments what Pokemon, from the Midway or not, could use an urban or rural form, as well as what they might look like or be inspired by. Some of the best ideas will make it into the video I make on urban and rural forms. With all that in mind, make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep up with the happenings of the Midway region. The next video will be Steel, and then followed up by Ice, to maintain the continuity between those 2 types in the Midway region. But you can still let me know what type you want to see after those. There's not that many left before we've gone through all of them. Remember, keep those running shoes on, trainers.